Al Gore has never lived in the White House, at least not yet, but he's got some pretty nice digs anyway. His family home in the Nashville area sprawls for 10,000 square feet. And according to the Nashville Tennessean, it cost the Gores about $1,200 a month in electricity. That's quite a big carbon footprint, needless to say. Well, Gore defends his prodigious energy consumption with the fact that Mr. Gore pays for, quote, offsets, which fund the production of renewable energy like solar power. Here to discuss the meaning of this story is the president of the Competitive Enterprise Institute, Fred Smith. Fred, welcome.
Hi, Tucker. We're back to the Middle Ages and indulgences, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I don't typically go into how people live their private lives. I like to keep that kind of out of politics. But the nature of this global warming debate is almost by definition personal. The idea is, and Gore said it out loud the other day, he said, it's not political, it's moral. The way you behave in your off hours, your private life at home, could determine the future of the earth. So the personal is political according to the rules he set out. And so I think it's very relevant that this guy is living like a king at the expense of our planet. Am I missing something?
No, you're not. And in fact, if he stayed at home, he'd actually use even less energy. Flying around the world in jet travel is not exactly what you would call a green lifestyle. But remember, as you point out in your beginning, he is now expiating for his evil consumptive ways by buying indulgences. You know, back in the Middle Ages, Tetzel was in trouble with Martin Luther because the Catholic Church, or at least elements of it, believed you could get people out of hell and save your own soul by buying indulgences. Well, now we have carbon indulgences. Rich people will tell poor people to stay energy poor, and as a result, the world will be fine. The rich people can feel morally sound, and the poor people will starve in the dark.
Well, the losers in the left-wing blogosphere are out of control about this. This is a right-wing plot to make Al Gore look bad.
No.
Explain this concept, Fred, in as straight a way as you can. I'm sure you're going to be attacked as a shill for industry, and I will be too. But explain what this carbon indulgence idea amounts to, and does it save the planet or not?
What they basically do is decide there's good energy and there's bad energy, and if you basically can't yourself live that lifestyle, you buy or pay others to live that more conservation-oriented lifestyle, and then you create a whole set of politically correct ways. Biofuels, not harvesting trees in some jungle in Africa or somewhere. Imagine if America, when we were settled, had that. All the American colonialists would have been paid not to have cleared the land to develop America. It's essentially a plot by which rich, guilty people allow poor people to stay poor, or their leaders really is what it'll amount to. So we'll have the foreign aid, green foreign aid. The rich in the poor countries will do well by taxing the poor in the rich countries.
Well, wouldn't a third and maybe better option be kind of scaled down? I mean, Gore lives in a 10,000 square foot house. He's obviously getting driven around in limousines a lot. He flies in private planes. Wouldn't it just be better to move in, say, a 3,000 square foot house or a 1,500 foot square? I mean, you know, how big a house do you need? And maybe you shouldn't travel so much. Wouldn't that just be a better way to do it? If you really care about the environment? Religion
into, if environmentalism is going to become a religion, if Al Gore is going to become the new green pope, if we're substituting Gaia for God, then absolutely. The lifestyle of the monks throughout the Middle Ages was very austere. They lived a very green lifestyle. But generally what we're seeing here is a view that we have to there has to be sacrifice. Let's let Bill lose his job. Let the coal miner lose their job. Let the poor people in the energy-starved world stay poor. It's the immorality of that. There's nothing wrong with people living a austere lifestyle. Many of us live a much more austere lifestyle than former Vice President Gore. That's our choice. That's our moral feeling or our trade-offs. But when you export that lifestyle, not to yourself, but to the people who are defenseless through regulations, through tax policies, through penalties, you're doing something that is obscene, immoral. An energy-starved world is going to be harmed by raising energy prices.
You know what, Fred Smith, I think you speak an unpopular but kind of true point. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. We Southerners always try to be truthful.
Amen. American Idol contestant